You ever check your bank account at the end of the month and think, wait, where the heck did all my money go? Yeah, me too. And here's the thing, it's not always the big stuff like rent or car payments. Nah, a huge chunk of that cash just evaporates into thin air thanks to subscriptions. Yeah, all those streaming services, apps, software, and even the random free trial you totally forgot about. Most Americans spend over $237 a month on subscriptions they barely use. Think about that. That's like $2,844 a year, literally disappearing, unnoticed. My name is Lucas, and I spend way too much time thinking about how most Americans overspend on digital services they forget about. If you're someone who signs up for a free app, forgets about it, and then gets hit with a monthly fee, make sure to subscribe and like this video if it helps you. Seriously, this is gonna save you a lot more than your next cup of overpriced latte. Here's the thing. Most people assume that $10, $15, or $20 a month doesn't matter. It's just a coffee, you tell yourself. But let me break it down. Imagine you're paying $12 a month for Spotify, another $15 for some photo editing app, and let's throw in $10 for a random gaming subscription. That's $37 a month. Now multiply that by 12 months. Boom, $444 a year. Okay, $444 isn't the end of the world, right? Not yet. But now, picture if you let that pile up over 10 years and you invest that cash instead at a modest 6% return. Suddenly that small monthly leak turns into over $6,000. That's not chump change. This is where it gets really interesting. Psychologically, humans are wired to treat small recurring payments differently than big one-time purchases. It's called the subscription bias. You don't feel the pain of paying $12 a month because it's automatic. No sticker shock. No swiping your debit card consciously. This is what most people don't realize. Your brain literally ignores the slow drain until it's a problem. And banks and companies love this. They know if they keep you in auto pay, you'll barely notice. But the math, the math is brutal. Now, maybe you're thinking, Lucas, come on, that's just entertainment. I enjoy it. Totally fair. But here's a question. How many of those subscriptions do you actually use weekly, monthly? How many do you forget about entirely? A survey by Waterstone Management Group found that a typical American forgets about 3 active subscriptions on average, and the annual loss adds up to $900. Yeah, that's almost $1,000 you could have invested, saved, or even used for a killer weekend getaway. Look, I get it. Subscriptions are convenient. You don't have to commit long term. But here's the kicker. Convenience costs cash, and convenience plus auto pay, that's like leaving your wallet in a leaky faucet. Money drips away and you barely notice. All right, let's be real. Like most people think, oh, it's just $10, no big deal. But here's the kicker. Those small charges add up faster than you think. Look, if you've got 5 subscriptions at $15 each, that's $75 a month. Multiply that by 12 months, boom, $900 a year. Just gone, and that's not pocket change, especially if you're trying to stack some cash for a rainy day or invest for the future. Now here's something most folks don't realize. The reason we don't feel the pinch is straight up psychology. There's this sneaky thing called payment decoupling. It's when money leaves your account automatically and your brain doesn't even register it. No pain, no fuss, no sticker shock. But in reality, that auto pay is like a tiny leak in your finances that slowly turns into a flood over time. This is what gets really wild. Say you canceled just 2 of those $15 subscriptions. That's $30 a month, $360 a year. Now, take that $360 and invest it in a simple index fund with an average 7% annual return. 10 years down the line, that $360 a month would grow to nearly $60,000. Yep, 60 grand from subscriptions subscriptions you didn't even need. And I know what you're thinking. Lucas, that sounds too good to be true. Nah, it's literally math. Compound interest doesn't care how small you start. It just grows quietly and painfully fast if you ignore it. Here's the thing. This is where most people don't take action. They think, oh, I'll get to it later, or it's not hurting me right now. But the truth, the longer you wait, the more money you're literally flushing down the drain. Subscriptions are designed to be invisible. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, cloud storage, premium apps, they're all autopilot money traps. Companies know you forget, and you let it slide every month. Look, I'm not saying you need to go subscription free. That's not realistic. But here's a simple strategy that actually works. Every 3 months, do a subscription audit. Pull up your bank statements, check for recurring charges, and ask yourself, do I even use this? If the answer is no, cancel it straight up. No guilt, no hesitation, and if the answer is yes, great, but consider whether there's a cheaper plan or bundle. You'd be surprised how much you can save just by being intentional. Now let's talk psychology again. Humans hate losing money more than they love gaining it. It's called loss aversion. That's why small monthly charges fly under your radar. It doesn't feel like losing anything significant, but if you frame it differently, I'm losing $360 a year by not canceling. Like, suddenly it stings. Yeah, that's the trick. Make the invisible visible. And this is where it gets really interesting, guy. You can take all the money you're saving and do something powerful. Emergency fund, side hustle investment, crypto, index funds, whatever floats your boat. But the key, you have to see the leak before you can plug it. So here's the bottom line. Subscriptions are convenient, yeah, but convenience costs cash. And auto pay, that's the sneaky villain in your finances. Start tracking every recurring charge, question whether you need it, and redirect that cash toward real growth. This is what most people don't realize. Small leaks lead to massive losses over time, but a little awareness can turn that around fast. All right, now that we've seen how subscriptions quietly drain cash, let's get tactical. Here's the deal. Most people don't actually know exactly what they're subscribed to. You've got streaming, apps, memberships, cloud storage, even random newsletters that sneak in paid perks. And when all that stuff auto-renews, you're basically giving companies free money every month. Here's a wild fact. A survey by Truebill found that Americans waste over $1,200 a year on forgotten subscriptions. And don't roll your eyes, that's just an average. Some folks are losing $2,000, $3,000, sometimes more. That's a serious chunk of change that could have been invested or stacked in an emergency fund. Here's the thing. People tend to underestimate recurring costs because of mental accounting. You know, when you separate your money into fun money, bills, or savings in your head, small monthly subscriptions feel like fun money, so you shrug and ignore them. But the math doesn't lie. $15 a month, $20 a month. They add up, and over a decade, that's tens of thousands you're basically handing over for convenience. Now, maybe you're thinking, Lucas, I love my subscriptions. I can't cancel them all. Like, totally fair. Here's where strategy comes in. You don't have to go cold turkey. Instead, rank your subscriptions by value. Ask yourself, am I actually using this weekly, monthly? Could I downgrade? You'd be surprised how many people realize they're paying full price for stuff they use once a month or less. Let's do some math real quick. Say you've got 10 subscriptions at $12 a month. That's $120 monthly, $1,440 yearly. Cut just 3 of them, that's $36 a month saved. $432 a year. Now take that $36 and toss it into a high yield savings account or index fund with a 6 to 7% annual return. In 10 years, that $36 a month snowballs into over $5,000. And that's just trimming a few subscriptions, not even a full overhaul. Psychology hack time. Humans hate losing losing money more than they love gaining it, right? That's loss aversion again, but you can flip it. Instead of thinking, I'm losing $36 a month by canceling, think, I'm gaining $5,000 plus in 10 years. Big mental shift. And this is what most people don't realize. Framing is everything. Here's a pro tip. Use apps or even just your bank's recurring payment tracker. Every month, glance at your subscriptions like you're auditing a tiny money leak. Catch it early, plug it fast. This builds financial awareness, and awareness leads to action. And action, that's how you grow wealth, not just survive paycheck to paycheck. So yeah, subscriptions are sneaky, convenient, and easy to ignore. But once you see the invisible drain, once you understand the compounding cost, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly you're in control. You can cancel, downgrade, or redirect that cash towards something that actually grows your net worth. And trust me, once you plug these leaks, it feels like your money finally breathes. Bottom line, don't underestimate tiny monthly payments. Like, they might seem harmless, but left unchecked, they quietly destroy financial potential. Take action now, audit your subscriptions, and start redirecting that money to something that actually works for you. All right, let's level up. You've done some auditing, canceled a few subscriptions, and maybe even redirected cash towards savings. But here's the truth. This isn't just about canceling stuff. It's about changing how you think about money. See, subscriptions are basically a brain hack. They make spending painless, so your money disappears without you noticing. That autopilot convenience, it's sneaky. Here's where most people screw up. They fix a few subscriptions, feel like heroes, and then slip back into autopilot. Look, it's human. We like convenience. But here's the kicker. If you don't change your habits, your money will keep leaking. Small amounts, yes, but small amounts over time become giant losses. That's the ugly math most folks don't want to face. Let's get concrete. Imagine you're paying $20 a month for a streaming service, $15 for a premium app, $10 for cloud storage, and another $12 for a fitness app. That's $57 a month. Multiply that by 12 months. That's $684 a year over 10 years, $6,840. And if you invested that money with a 6% annual return, we're talking over $9,000 just from things most people call fun money. Crazy, right? Now, maybe you're thinking, Lucas, I can't live without my Netflix, Spotify, and everything else. Totally get it. But here's the trick. Value-based spending. Ask yourself, am I using this enough to justify $20 a month? Could I share it with someone or get a cheaper bundle? Often the answer is yes, and that's money back in your pocket. Psychologically, humans are wired for immediate gratification. That's why subscriptions feel fine. The pain of paying is delayed, subtle. But if you flip the perspective, think of that $20 as a seed instead of a cost. Suddenly, it's an investment in your future. Your brain starts seeing growth instead of loss, and that's huge. Here's a simple action plan. Write down every subscription, cost, and usage frequency. Next, mark the ones you rarely use, cancel or downgrade those first. Then, take the money you save and automate it into savings or investments. This removes friction, and automation compounds your gains, and this is what most people don't realize. Consistency beats intensity. One big cancellation doesn't make you rich, but trimming $30 to $50 a month consistently and redirecting it, that snowballs. Over 5 to 10 years, your future self will thank you, and that's real financial freedom. Look, subscriptions are not the enemy. They're convenient, fun, and sometimes essential, but left unchecked, they're like tiny leaks in your boat. Stop patching randomly. Audit regularly, understand your habits, and redirect money where it actually grows. This isn't a gimmick. Like, it's real, actionable, and it works. So bottom line, see the invisible drain, understand the psychology, and take action consistently. Plug your subscription leaks today today, invest the money tomorrow, and watch how even small changes turn into massive gains over time. Your wallet and your future self will thank you. All right, now let's get real about automation and tracking. You see, most people audit once and think, cool, I fixed it. But here's the thing, subscriptions sneak back in if you're not careful. Free trials, app upgrades, new perks. All of it can slowly leak cash without you noticing. That's why the secret weapon here is automation plus awareness. Here's what I mean. Right, set up a recurring check every month, or at least every quarter. Pull up your bank statement, scan for any subscriptions, and ask yourself, am I really using this? It's like, could I cancel or downgrade? Don't skip this step. Your future self will thank you. Seriously, even 10 minutes a month saves hundreds of dollars over time. And let's talk numbers again. Say you catch 3 forgotten subscriptions totaling $45 a month. That's $540 a year. Throw that into an index fund with a 6% annual return, and in 10 years, you're looking at over $8,000. And that's without changing anything else in your budget. Just plugging leaks, just noticing what's happening. Here's where it gets psychological. Like, humans are wired to ignore small recurring losses because it doesn't feel like we're losing. But the moment you frame it as lost money, I could invest, it clicks. That's the mental shift most people never make. This is what most people don't realize. Your brain loves autopilot spending, but you can hack it with awareness. Now, maybe you're thinking, Lucas, I already canceled a bunch of stuff. I'm good. Totally cool, but check this. Companies actually want you to forget. They know once the auto pay is set, most people won't cancel until they get tired of it. And the sneaky part, some subscriptions increase in price over time automatically. That $12 app could turn into $18 before you even notice. So here's a simple strategy to crush this. First, track everything, even the tiny ones. Second, set reminders to audit. Third, redirect that money automatically to savings or investments. That way you don't even have to think about it. It's painless and it builds a snowball effect. And here's the kicker. Even small changes compound like crazy. Let's say you trim $50 a month. That's $600 a year. 10 years later, with a modest 6 to 7% return, that's over $8,000. 20 years, you're looking at $20,000 plus. And that's just from trimming a few subscriptions, not side hustles, not raises, not fancy tricks, just plugging leaks. Like, look, subscriptions are not evil. Convenience is valuable, but convenience without control, that's what slowly destroys your financial potential. If you combine awareness, consistent auditing, and redirecting saved cash, you literally take back control of your money. And this is the part most people never do. Most just let it slide. So here's the takeaway. Small leaks, if ignored, bleed you dry over time, but small actions consistently taken build real wealth. Track, audit, cancel, downgrade, redirect, make it a habit. Your future self will look back and say, damn, I'm glad I caught that early. And that's the power of plugging invisible subscription leaks. All right, now let's dive deeper into subscription hacks that actually work. See, most people just cancel stuff and call it a day. But here's the deal. If you really want to maximize your cash, you gotta hack the system a little. Don't worry, it's legal, just smart. First, let's talk family or shared plans. Streaming services like Netflix, Spotify, or Apple Music let multiple accounts share one subscription. Instead of paying $15 to $20 alone, you split it with a friend or family member. That $20 subscription, suddenly it's $5 to $10 a month, and you're saving big while still enjoying the same perks. Next up, timing is everything. Free trials are awesome, but people forget to cancel. Here's the trick. Set a calendar reminder 3 days before the trial ends. Boom. You decide if it's worth keeping or ditching. This is what most people don't realize. One tiny reminder can can save hundreds of dollars a year. Now, let's get a little mathy. Say you've got 4 subscriptions at $15 each and you catch all the ones you forgot about. That's $60 a month. Cancel just 2 and you're saving $30. Redirect that $30 monthly into a high yield savings account or index fund. 10 years later, you're looking at over $6,000. Not bad for 10 minutes of work a month, right? And here's something wild. Some subscriptions actually increase in cost silently. That $12 app could jump to $18 in a year. AutoPay keeps you hooked and you don't notice. So auditing isn't just a one-time thing. Monthly or quarterly checks are the secret sauce. Psychologically, humans hate paying up front, which is why subscriptions feel cheap. That $12 monthly charge doesn't hurt now, but in 10 years, it's a snowball of lost potential. This is what most people don't realize. Invisible leaks compound silently, and it's way more powerful than you think. Another hack, downgrade or pause subscriptions. Not everything needs to be premium. For instance, Spotify Premium, maybe you only need it 10 months out of the year. Pause it during travel months or slow months, and you literally save money without losing enjoyment. Also, use apps or your bank's recurring payment tracker. Seriously, glance at it every month. That's 10 minutes of effort that prevents hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars from slipping away. Automation plus awareness is the ultimate combo. AutoPay catches bills, but your brain stays sharp. And finally, think about redirecting your saved cash into something that grows. Emergency fund, index fund, crypto, side hustle, whatever floats your boat. The key? Action over intention. Most people intend to save, but never do. You're plugging leaks, redirecting money, and compounding growth over time. So, bottom line, subscriptions aren't evil. Convenience is valuable, but convenience plus auto pay without awareness, that's a silent killer for your finances. Audit, share plans, pause, downgrade, redirect, repeat consistently. That's the power move most people never do. Here's the takeaway. Small changes consistently applied turn tiny leaks into massive gains. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but it works. And the sooner you start, the sooner your money works for you instead of against you. All right, we're in the final stretch. Now that you know how subscriptions quietly drain your cash and the hacks to fix it, let's talk long-term habits. Because here's the truth, the first audit is easy. The hard part is making it stick. AutoPay, convenience, and small charges are sneaky. They'll creep back if you're not consistent. Step 1, set a recurring reminder. Mark your calendar every month or quarter to review all subscriptions. This is your check-in. Even 10 minutes consistently beats ignoring it forever. Most people don't do this, and that's why the leaks continue. Step 2, use technology to your advantage. Apps like Truebill, Mint, or your bank subscription tracker can alert you to hidden charges. Seriously, it's like having a financial watchdog. It catches what your brain forgets. This is what most people don't realize. The tools are there, you just gotta use them. Step 3, bundle and share wherever possible. Family plans, student discounts, or shared memberships. This is money you keep in your pocket without sacrificing your favorite services. That $20 subscription, split it, and suddenly it's $5 to $10 a month. That adds up over time. Step 4, pause or downgrade. You don't need the premium plan year-round. Maybe you only use Netflix heavily in winter or the fitness app during January. Pausing saves money without losing enjoyment. It's like cutting fat off a budget. Invisible, but impactful. Let's hit the numbers again. Like, imagine you trim $50 a month from unnecessary subscriptions. That's $600 a year. Put that money in an index fund at 6 to 7% growth. In 10 years, you're looking at $8,000 plus. 20 years, over $20,000. And you didn't even change your lifestyle. Just stop the leaks. Here's the psychology. Humans hate losing money up front. That's why subscriptions feel cheap, but flip the mindset. Think of your saved subscription money as seeds for your future. Suddenly, $12 a month isn't an expense. It's growth. And that mental shift, game changing. Also, Also, be ruthless with forgotten subscriptions. Even $5 here or $10 there, it counts. Tiny leaks, consistently ignored, become a massive drag on your finances, but tiny actions consistently applied become massive gains. That's the paradox most people miss. Finally, redirect that cash. Emergency fund, investment, side hustle. Pick something that grows your net worth. The key, consistency over intensity. Don't rely on luck or big one-time wins. Small, deliberate actions, plugging leaks, redirecting funds, automating savings, that's how wealth is built. So here's the bottom line. Subscriptions aren't evil. Convenience is great, but unchecked autopay plus small monthly charges, that's a silent money killer. Audit, track, share, pause, downgrade, and redirect consistently. Start now. Your wallet and your future self will thank you. And remember, the power isn't just in saving a few dollars. The power is in turning invisible leaks into visible growth. Plug your subscriptions, redirect the money, and watch it snowball. That's the financial edge most people never use. And that, my friends, is the power of taking control.